creepy sounds. Somehow always 10 times worse when you're alone, in the dark, or still reeling from a Stephen King novel, tend to follow a pattern. You've got the bone-chilling shrieks of wild animals, the ominous wail of air raid sirens, the eerie groan of a house settling when it shouldn't be, and the kind of distant, blood-curdling screams that make your stomach drop. But then, there are the sounds that don't fit into any category. The ones that send even the most rational minds spiraling. A baby crying when no baby exists. A piano key strikes itself in an empty room. Some noises have explanations, but the scariest ones? Well, they just don't add up. Here are 15 of the creepiest sounds ever recorded, the ones that left even experts completely speechless. Let's start off with number 15, the Forest Grove sound. In 2016, residents of Forest Grove, Oregon, were plagued by an unearthly, banshee-like screech that echoed through the night. The noise, described as everything from a giant flute to a mechanical scream, was so piercing that it sent chills down the spines of those who heard it. Hundreds of calls flooded city offices as people scrambled to explain the sound. Was it a gas leak? A mechanical malfunction? Something supernatural? Even the city's public works and fire departments were stumped. The most rational theory suggested that the noise came from an attic fan or a heat pump. But without concrete proof, speculation ran wild. Some even blamed Bigfoot, because why not? Despite numerous investigations, the Forest Grove sound remains one of the most baffling auditory mysteries in modern history. Whatever it was, it disappeared as suddenly as it arrived, leaving behind only questions, theories, and a lingering sense of unease. Number 14, Havana syndrome. When something is labeled a syndrome, it's never a good sign. Havana syndrome is no exception. It began in late 2016 when U.S. and Canadian embassy personnel in Cuba started experiencing bizarre symptoms: intense headaches, nausea, memory loss, and cognitive dysfunction. Many victims reported a distinct auditory component, a persistent, vibrating noise, often likened to the sensation of driving with the windows down. The leading theory at the time: a sonic weapon, an unknown device emitting frequencies above and below human hearing, capable of causing neurological damage. A study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association later confirmed that diplomats had suffered brain injuries, with scans showing changes in brain matter. Some experts now suspect microwave radiation was involved, triggering the Frey effect, a phenomenon where pulsed radio frequencies create auditory hallucinations. Despite multiple investigations, the true cause and the identity of whoever was responsible remains unknown. Number 13, skyquakes. Despite humanity's long history on Earth, some of its most fundamental mysteries remain unsolved, like skyquakes. These unexplained, thunderous booms erupt from the sky with no clear source, often resembling cannon fire or distant explosions. Reports of skyquakes span the globe, with some witnesses even claiming that buildings tremble from the shock waves. In Sweden and Michigan, people have recorded eerie trumpet-like sounds reverberating across the sky, leading to wild speculation. Could it be atmospheric phenomena, military testing, or something even stranger? Theories range from natural events, like meteors disintegrating in the atmosphere or coronal mass ejections from the sun, to more outlandish possibilities, including secret government experiments or even alien activity. While science offers potential explanations, such as biogas eruptions from lakes or tectonic shifts, no definitive cause has ever been confirmed. Until we have clear answers, skyquakes remain one of Earth's most unsettling auditory mysteries, an unexplained phenomenon that turns the sky into a source of fear. Number 12, the Lincolnshire poacher. At first glance, the Lincolnshire poacher sounds like the title of an old English folk song, which it is. but it's also the chilling name of a shortwave numbers station that once sent cryptic transmissions across the world. Operating from the mid-1970s until its sudden shutdown in 2008, this station broadcasted eerie bars from folk songs, followed by a robotic female voice reading out random sequences of numbers, 3, 9, 7, 1. The transmissions were relentless, airing multiple times a day for decades. Direction-finding technology later traced the signal to a Royal Air Force base in Cyprus, fueling speculation that the Lincolnshire poacher was a British intelligence operation, likely used by MI6 to communicate with spies stationed abroad. While numbers stations are widely believed to be coded messages for covert operatives, no government has ever confirmed their goal. And with its abrupt disappearance, the Lincolnshire poacher left behind more questions than answers. Number 11. Julia. The name Julia may sound innocent, but don't be fooled. This is one of the creepiest sounds ever recorded underwater. Captured by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or in short, NOAA, in 1999, Julia is an unsettling, whining noise that lasted for a full 15 seconds. What makes it even more terrifying? It was loud enough to be detected by hydrophones spread across the entire equatorial Pacific Ocean. That means whatever caused it was massive. Experts believe it was an Antarctic iceberg scraping against the seafloor, but once again, that's just an educated guess. The sheer scale of Julia, combined with the ocean's vast, unexplored depths, has fueled countless theories. Could it be an undiscovered sea creature? If the train and bloop have taught us anything, it's that the ocean still holds plenty of terrifying secrets. Number 10. The hum. Since the 1970s, reports of the hum have cropped up worldwide, from small towns to bustling cities. Those who hear it describe an incessant low-frequency droning noise, somewhere between 32 and 80 hertz, that never seems to stop. The hum has embedded itself into pop culture, appearing in the X-Files, Criminal Minds, and Unsolved Mysteries. Some people claim it's merely a mechanical vibration from factories, while others suggest it's the byproduct of industrial plants, undersea drilling, or even specific species of fish like the toadfish. But here's where it gets weird. Not everyone can hear it. The hum only seems to affect a small percentage of the population, leading some to believe it's linked to a neurological phenomenon, or even some kind of classified government experiment. The most unsettling part? No one has ever pinpointed its true source. Number 9. The train. The Pacific Ocean is a breeding ground for eerie, unexplained sounds, and the train is one of the strangest. Captured by the Equatorial Pacific Ocean Autonomous Hydrophone Array in 1997, the noise is named for its resemblance to grinding train wheels scraping against metal tracks. Experts believe the sound comes from a massive iceberg dragging across the seafloor, mimicking the rhythmic screech of rail cars in motion. But that's just an educated guess. Could it be something else? Something not of this world? After all, the ocean is still one of Earth's most unexplored frontiers. And if the idea of an iceberg groaning under the weight of the deep doesn't send chills down your spine, consider this. Some theorists have jokingly, or maybe not so jokingly, suggested that this could be the sound of something much larger moving in the abyss, something ancient, something lurking, maybe even Cthulhu himself. Now let's move to Number 8. Bloop. If any underwater sound has achieved legendary status, it's bloop. Recorded by NOAA. In 1997, this deep-sea anomaly was so loud, it was picked up on sensors more than 3,000 miles apart. When sped up, the sound resembled a classic bloop, hence the name. At first, scientists thought it came from a living creature. But for that to be the case, the animal would have to be far larger and far louder than any known species on Earth. Naturally, this led to wild speculation. Could it be some undiscovered leviathan lurking in the depths? A sea monster straight out of Lovecraftian horror? Eventually, researchers settled on a more rational explanation. Bloop was likely caused by an ice quake, massive icebergs cracking apart in Antarctica. But even with that conclusion, the sheer scale of the sound keeps the mystery alive. Number 7. UVB-76. UVB-76, better known as the Buzzer, is one of the most mysterious shortwave radio stations ever recorded. It broadcasts a constant, monotonous buzzing sound, repeating every minute, every hour, every day. But every so often, something breaks the pattern. A voice speaking in Russian. Officially, the station is owned by the Russian armed forces and transmitted from Moscow. But beyond that, silence. No government official has ever confirmed its true purpose, leading to endless speculation. Some think it's part of a military communication network. Others suggest it monitors changes in the ionosphere. And then there are the darker theories, the ones that keep conspiracy theorists up at night. One of the most bone-chilling possibilities? It's a dead-hand signal, an automated system that, if interrupted, could trigger a nuclear response. And since no one has ever admitted to running the station, that creepy idea remains very much on the table. Number 6. The wow signal. The wow signal is one of the most compelling pieces of evidence for extraterrestrial life ever recorded. Detected on August 15, 1977 by Ohio State University's aptly named Big Ear radio telescope, this mysterious narrowband signal came from deep space, and to this day, no one knows exactly what it was. Astronomer Jerry R. Amon was the one who discovered it, circling the printout in red ink and writing a single stunned word beside it. Wow. The name stuck, but the answers never came. The signal was never detected again, despite countless attempts. Many believe it was a fleeting message from an intelligent civilization, a cosmic hello lost in the void. If so, isn't it about time we sent a reply? Some scientists argue that if we want to find extraterrestrial life, Sagittarius, the direction the signal originated from, is where we should be looking. If they're truly advanced, maybe they'll even find a way to speak to us in our own language. Number 5. A non-existent baby's cry. Well, we all know that when a baby cries, it's impossible to ignore. It's wired into us, an urgent primal signal that demands attention. But what happens when you hear a baby crying, and there is no baby? Redditor/U Apollo 180 shared their terrifying experience of hearing an infant's wail echo through their house. The problem? No babies lived there. No visiting children. No TV is playing in the background. Just the unmistakable, heartbreaking sound of a child in distress, coming from nowhere. Some might dismiss it as a trick of the mind, a common auditory hallucination fueled by exhaustion or fear. But others suspect something more sinister, perhaps the lingering presence of a child long gone, a spectral echo from a tragic past. One thing is certain: when the sound of a non-existent baby's cry fills an empty house, sleep is not an option. Number 4. A taunting laugh in an empty hall. Hearing strange noises in your house is unsettling enough, but being mocked by something you can't see? That's next-level terrifying. Redditor/U/Bun Holly grew up in a house they believed was haunted by its former residents, an elderly couple who had lived there before them. But for nearly 14 years, nothing felt threatening. That all changed one night at 2 a.m. As they were heading upstairs, they heard someone clear their throat behind them. The sound startled them so much that they lost their balance, tripped, and fell hard onto the floor. That's when they heard it. A laugh. A full-bodied, taunting laugh. Angry, they turned around, ready to snap at whoever was making fun of them. But the hallway was empty. Their family? All sound asleep. The next morning, they demanded to know who had been laughing. Everyone swore they had no idea what they were talking about. And to this day, that chilling, unseen laugh still lingers in their mind. Number 3. The roar of something that was surely at least 9 feet tall. Redditor/U lives deep in the woods, so eerie noises come with the territory. But nothing, not even the usual nighttime rustles and distant animal calls, prepared them for what they heard outside their bedroom wall one night. It wasn't just a roar. It was a low, breathy, guttural growl coming from the top of the wall. Not the ground, not the bushes, but somewhere far above them. For the sound to be coming from that height, whatever made it had to be at least 9 feet tall, or hanging off the roof. The noise was so intense that their cat bolted from the room and refused to return for an hour. They knew what a bear sounded like. This wasn't a bear. It was deeper, almost calculated, too unnatural to be just another woodland creature. Jokingly, they say it must have been Bigfoot, but deep down, they know they've no explanation. Number 2. A roar near an abandoned asylum. Abandoned mental asylums already have an unsettling reputation. But for Redditor/U/Nidus1234, that eerie reputation turned into a terrifying reality. A few nights ago, they and their friends were hanging out in the woods near an old, abandoned asylum. The air was thick with fog, the darkness nearly impenetrable. Off in the distance, church bells chimed, adding an extra layer of unease. Then, it happened. An almighty roar, deafening and otherworldly, like a freight train passing just feet away. The problem? There were no train tracks anywhere nearby. The sound kept coming, a relentless, booming noise that shook them to their core. It was so surreal that one of them compared it to something from War of the Worlds. Was it geological? A bizarre echo? Or something far more terrifying? Something lurking in the ruins of the asylum? Number 1. The Kola superdeep borehole sounds. Hell is real, but what if we told you it might not be where you think? For more than 2 decades, the deepest hole on Earth was the Kola superdeep borehole in Russia, plunging over 40,000 feet into the Earth's crust. But what truly disturbed people wasn't the terrifying depth. It was the sounds recorded from inside. Dutch artist Lotte Gieven became obsessed with the question, what does the Earth sound like from 30,000 feet below? Teaming up with geologists and engineers, she captured the haunting noises echoing up from one of the world's deepest boreholes in Windischenbach, Germany. What they heard? A deep, thunderous, almost organic roar, like the Earth itself was groaning. Some described it as the sound of a distant earthquake rumbling beneath the surface. Others said it was eerily similar to muffled screams. Skeptics argue that the sounds are nothing more than seismic activity, amplified by the cavernous depths. But conspiracy theorists, and those who've heard the recordings, aren't so sure. What do you say? Well, let us know. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for joining us on this journey, and we'll see you in the next one.